The notion is if you focus on the needs of that end customer first, everything else is going to follow. So figure out what makes them tick, what makes them happy, what's going to make their life better, faster, cheaper, easier, help them avoid pain and embarrassment.
It sounds simple, but let me ask you something. Are you spending thousands on ads? Constantly thinking about traffic, ad budgets, maybe even automation? Because here's the hard truth. The experience people have when they land on your website could be costing you sales. This is the DesignRush Podcast. I'm your host, Kia Johnson, and today I'm sitting down with Jeff Finkelstein. He's the founder of Customer Paradigm, has led more than 30,000 web and marketing projects, advised global enterprise brands like 3M and BP, and has been featured in the New York Times as a web guru. If you care about branding, growth, and building systems that actually drive revenue, make sure you subscribe and visit us at www.designrush.com. For now, let's dive in. Hi, Jeff. Thank you for joining us on the DesignRush Podcast. It is so great to have you here with us today. Jeff, I would like to kick things off and find out a little bit more about your journey. Specifically, what exactly pulled you into tech? Would you say that there was a specific moment or there was a spark that actually got you started?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the podcast today. It's wonderful to be here and just thrilled to share my journey. So when I was in, I think, third grade, I convinced my parents to get an Apple II computer, and I started dialing into bulletin boards with a 300 baud modem. Eventually, we needed to get a second phone line. Really early days. This was pre-AOL, CompuServe, just getting started. I've also been a really big reader, especially for science fiction, and I love that what we can do with technology is invent the future and make things work better. So I find it really just amazing today that I have access to so much information, just right on my phone, right at my fingertips. I can listen to any song, pretty much. I can ask for it to be played with a voice command on all those various speakers throughout the house. I can interact with the artist on Instagram. I can turn on and off lights. It's really cool. I can automate things like the dog feeder. I have a dog that likes to eat at 5:30 in the morning. So I figured, let's automate that too. So I sleep a lot better now. Now, I want to back up and say there's certain parts of my life I don't love the tech stuff. So, for example, I have an 8-burner gas range and double oven, and I love it because there's no electronics. There's nothing to break. The lights go out, load shedding in South Africa style, then I can still cook because I just have to light the gas with a match. My espresso machine, same kind of thing. No electronics, nothing to go wrong. Just high pressure water, just going through a fresh burr ground coffee. I also have a 1962 Triumph convertible, which is awesome. It's a Spitfire, no electronics at all, totally mechanical, so much fun to drive. The dog love it. They push their head off the side of the car and go around town. So it's really cool, but that's kind of the outlier. So what I love about technology is that we can really use it to help bring people together and hopefully make life better. Now, I see that it can be used for good. It can be used for bad things. Like Instagram, it's allowed me to connect with a lot of people from high school, college, and all the rest. It's also one of those things where people can look at their friends and say, oh, wow, they have such an amazing life. Look at their vacations, look at their perfect life. And I know how to manipulate that because I've worked as a professional photographer, and so I know both sides of that. But, for my friend Manny, who was a doctor in the Navy and posting photos of aircraft carrier fighters taking off, that was really cool. Or my friend Eric, who's really into cars and now has a really cool sports car collection, or some of my buddies who climb some of the biggest mountains in the world. It's really pretty cool. So that's kind of what got me into it and what kind of continues to fascinate me with it.
I'm just loving it. And, as you're speaking to everything on your journey right now, I'm getting these visualizations, and so my imagination is running wild. I do love the whole dog part. I have to tell you that I am an absolute dog lover. And so I've got my own German Shepherd that keeps me very busy and very much on my toes. So I hear you there 1,000%. Now, Jeff, you're talking a bit about like the pros and the cons. And we're all going through this, I think, with a lot of us who have sort of migrated from the time before when there wasn't all this technology to where we are right now. And so what I'm curious to find out, if I were to sort of fast forward you a couple of years, into doing the work that you're currently doing, when did you realize your website actually matters more than your ads?
That's a great question because, ads are really important, but they're only the first step. So the ad is a great way to really grab somebody's attention. And we all, I don't know about you, but we all have these great filters that we use as we go through life, and we tend to ignore a lot of stuff unless it really stands out. And I don't know about you, but I watch very little TV these days that's live and contains ads. The Olympics, that's probably the outlier for me. I watched a lot of curling, a little bit of biathlon, but honestly, when it came time to commercial break, I either pause the TV, skipped ahead later, or used the break to grab another big mug of peppermint tea. So it takes a lot of time and energy to grab my attention. You just have to have something pretty remarkable. So I'll tell you, I mentioned this before. I love photography. I've worked as a professional photographer in the past. I've got photos in museums in 3 countries. I've had books published with my photos and magazines and newspapers and all that other stuff. I've shot lots of bar mitzvahs and headshots and weddings and events. Probably my favorite thing to do, though, is photograph animals on safari in South Africa. And I'm going to be going back there for my 4th trip in the past 2 years, coming up in a couple of months. So I love that. So in order to get my attention, you can appeal to my sense of curiosity, and it's going to take something interesting to break through the mix. So a great example, one of the cooler impulse purchases I made recently was based on an ad for a company that makes camera gear. It's a small company called Reshape, and they take the 35-cent disposable film camera lens, and they pop it into a lens that works on my modern $5,000 mirrorless camera. And it gives that like really cool 1970s vintage look. So it's really cool. And it was an impulse purchase that I saw, and the ad captivated my attention, but it was the site that really drove it home. My 17-year-old stepdaughter, she loves the look of the lens. She thinks it's really cool. And I just took it out the other day with the dogs. It's really fun. So I think that the trick is, yes, an ad grabs your attention, but you have to nail it when they come to the site with something that is going to convert them. So if something interesting comes up, I'll click on it. I'll see the price. I'll see what's going on. But if you don't have a good way to catch people and convert that sale, it's just burning money on ad spend. And worse than that, advertisers like Google look at the bounce rate. That's when people click on your ad and they bounce right back because they didn't find what they were looking for. So yeah, they track this very closely. And a site like Google will look at this, and people use Google Analytics to track and measure conversions all the time. So if you have a great ad, it's a good start. But to really make it work, you have to have a site that builds that trust and confidence. You have to allow that person on the other end of the screen to sit there and think, like, are there other people like me who have made the same kind of purchasing decision and found success? Is the pricing okay? If it's too little, then it sucks. It's not going to be quality. If it's too much, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to pay $45 for a t-shirt. How much is shipping? Oh, I don't want to pay more in shipping than I have to pay for the product. That kind of sucks. And Amazon Prime killed that with an expectation for a lot of people. So it's still a big issue. And then how much detail do you go into your product or service? Enough to get somebody to buy, to counter all those arguments? So even if people don't read all the content on your site, Google, AI search bots, they're looking at your landing page, they're looking at your site and seeing if it's relevant to your search. And if so, you get rewarded for better traffic. If not, your quality score goes down. You have to pay a lot more for that same traffic. So how are your product images? Of course, I'm biased as a photographer. If they suck, they're like, yeah. Do you have a video? Do you really go into how easy it is to use? Does it solve a unique problem? And so ads get your attention, and then your site does the rest. And I really recommend giving people multiple pathways to engage. Buy now, or chat, or text, or watch a video, or call somebody for more information. So I don't know, does that answer the question?
Yes, it has. And I mean, I want us to kind of like stay on this thread right now because you're just touching on so many key points at the moment. A lot of companies are obviously always, forking out so much money. And so do you feel that companies are actually wasting money on their marketing while their site is then broken? Because some companies are actually just they'll still continue.
Right, because it's different departments doing different things. And so, yes, companies waste a ton of money on marketing when their site sucks. And it's not just that you're burning ad spend. And for people who aren't familiar with it, every time somebody clicks on a link when you're placing an ad, that costs you, the advertisers, anywhere from like 25 cents per click if it's a super non-competitive space, like, something where nobody is really competitive on it. in some cases, I've seen $300 or more for some of the crazy competitive spaces like personal injury law. So yes, they're wasting a lot of money, but it's worse than that because you're also capturing the attention of really good possible customers. Only they land on your site and you piss them off and annoy them with a bad user experience. And once you do that, you're not likely to get them back. So, but here's the thing is, it's actually worse than that. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that Google built a really good feedback mechanism into their whole advertising system. And this is something that AI bots have also picked up on. So it's something that Bing and Microsoft didn't do at the beginning because they put the power of advertising in the hands of the people who want to spend money. Like, hey, you want to spend money on this? Great, we'll show your ads. Google early on decided, no, let's create a feedback and reward system for advertisers. So Google basically said, we want to look at the end customer. We want to deliver the best results for their customers who search. And they're willing to prod advertisers to jump through lots of hoops to ensure that experience is great. So for example, if your site loads quickly, that's really important. Google knows that. Research has shown that 200 milliseconds, literally the blink of an eye, is the threshold for people to decide, is your site good or not? And so if you do that and your site loads quickly and the content on your site is good and you're searching for something that is relevant on your site, you'll get a great quality score and you actually pay less for your advertising position than somebody with worse scores. So not only are you burning ad spend, you're pissing off customers, but if you have a site that sucks and people bounce and don't buy, Google knows that, and your future advertising is going to cost more and you're still losing customers.
I'm actually curious to find it from you then, Jeff. If you're sending more and more and more traffic, can this not actually crash your business then, in essence, and be the complete opposite of what we're talking about? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, something as simple as like sending a huge surge of people, like 50,000 people to your site all at the same time based on a big ad that goes out like on the Super Bowl or something like that. That's going to cause the site to crash unless you do a lot of planning in advance for it. And even then, it's really tricky. I've seen it. It sucks. And not only are you kissing that ad spend goodbye, but, it upsets people. And then second, let's say, okay, great. You send a ton of people to your site. Your site still works, which is great. So you've engineered it properly. But now you're overwhelmed by the new sales and inquiries. And you can't keep up. And people get upset. And they're generally not afraid to say so, especially online or back in customer feedback. So once again, I'm a big science fiction fan. I love it. I saw an ad probably on Instagram because I scroll there a lot for a cool Star Trek replica phaser. It's awesome. I bought it and so did a lot of other people. It was supposed to have been here like 5 months ago, but it's still not here. And so like the trust of the company, which I'm not going to name, it's just a little less now. That said, they did a really brave thing and they emailed out everybody and said, hey, we're really struggling to keep up with demand. We're working on it. And you know what? That's okay. My livelihood, my job does not center around having a Star Trek replica phaser on my desk. It'd be cool. Really cool. Still waiting for it. I've got a lightsaber and other assorted crap behind me, which is nice. But it's different. So for example, I needed a 25 set fuse for a lighting system for photography that failed and I couldn't find it anywhere here. So I paid $50 overnight shipping for it and it's great. And it got here and I didn't have to spend $2,000 on a brand new lighting system because they came through. I'm going to use those guys again and I trust them. And that's awesome. So yeah, it's easy to not only just have your site crash, but your business tank if you don't do things well at the same time.
Yeah, that's so true. And Jeff, I have to say, you're talking about sci-fi. I do believe we are officially kindred spirits because if I were to see someone selling a lightsaber stuff, I am getting that for myself. I am like a big sci-fi buff. And so I think there's something also to be said. Are you showing? Oh, wow. Oh, no, Jeff. I'm going to have a moment now.
Yeah, you can have a moment. It's pretty cool. And
it is so cool.
It's fun. It is so fun.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I love that.
So I guess I'm in the right space.
But exactly. And so
inventing the future and
Exactly. And so, there's something to be said about, there being a need or want, or maybe just like you're saying, something really cool. And so if you can appeal to that, then obviously you've hit the jackpot,
Absolutely.
So now, throughout all the years of of being in this industry with the work that you do, what is the most expensive tech mistake that you have ever seen?
That's a great question. It's tough. I would probably boil it down to arrogance and ego, and people who think that because they had really tremendous success in one area of the world, that, oh, okay, we can just take this offline store experience and just, hey, your website, it's just like another physical brick and mortar location. And I've seen people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and make huge mistakes because they really didn't understand what they were doing. It's a very different mentality running an online site or interacting with people online than just when people casually walk through the door. So I think that the most successful people are the ones who can really design a product or a service or a store that makes people love them and feel good about what they've bought. I've been running Customer Paradigm since 2002. That's pre-YouTube, pre-Facebook. I've personally made lots of mistakes. I've trusted people I shouldn't have. I've lost a ton of money. I've done lots of stuff. Some bad mistakes, some good mistakes. There's, lots to be done. But yeah, I would say that the biggest thing that I have seen are just arrogant people who don't give a crap about the end user. All they want to do is move product and make the most amount of money possible. And they're really not focusing on that. And that's typically what I've seen. So I won't name names or, talk about a company that's totally screwed up. But yeah, there's stuff like that that's happened.
Definitely. Would you then say that big ad budgets actually hide deeper problems?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because, if you're spending $5,000 a month on advertising or $25,000 a month or $100,000 a month, which is, a lot of money, it's really easy not to worry about some of the outliers. It's just random noise. It's a rounding error. Let's not worry about some of those random clicks or whatever. It's too tricky to test and isolate it. So yeah, I do see people are like, let's not worry about that, and all the rest. So I see that, and a bigger budget can hide some of that stuff. Some of the automated systems that Google and other ad agent or ad platforms recommend, it's great for them. You're going to spend more money. Is it really what you need to be advertising? And sometimes it's good, but sometimes these are like AI recommendations based on, autocorrect types of things. So like, it's not exactly, transmission repair for a car is not the same as other kinds of things, for example. So I also think it's really easy to fall into the PPC trap. So with a big ad budget, people, I see this a lot. People get addicted to that traffic. Yeah. I'm sure you've seen this. People get addicted to that traffic. You can dial up, you dial down on demand. You can get more people in there. And when it works, it's amazing. But it comes at the expense of organic traffic. And the problem is that you're always going to pay every single time for that. So if you have great organic traffic, then that keeps your ad spend more efficient because you're also getting higher relevance on the site as well. So we have one customer we've been working with for a long time, 15 years at least. And way back when, we sold them on the idea that, hey, let's take like 25% of your budget and our time and energy, and let's put that into organic content for the site. And now that translates into, I think at last check, about $28,000 a month in inbound traffic that they would otherwise have to pay for. And it's more important than just the PPC trap. AI agents, they look for good, unique content as well. So if you focus on that, it's really helpful. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck in this trap of being addicted to PPC. And, that's less experience, less helpful long-term, I think.
In 5 years, okay, if you were to look at this like in the future, in 5 years, do you think that the winners out there are going to have better ads or better websites? Or do you think it's going to be a balance of both?
In 5 years, I think AI is changing a lot, and especially in the advertising space. So I think what's more important is that in 5 years is to make sure that your ads, your product information, and site appeals to AI systems and people. And the AI systems are going to be doing some of that work for those end customers. So taking some of the guesswork out of it. So let me just leave you with a parting thought. The Stone Age did not end because we ran out of stones. We just didn't run out of rocks. We found better materials for building stuff that make our lives better and more useful, like steel knives instead of stone tools. I actually have a stone knife made from volcanic glass. It's back here somewhere. It's really cool. It's brittle, so I'm not going to use it for everyday cooking, but it's very cool. Here, let me see what I can get.
Please do show it. I would love to see this.
Back here somewhere. Yeah. It's cool. It's a rainbow obsidian volcanic glass knife. It's actually very sharp. I have used it to like cut meat and stuff like that, but it's just not something I'm going to carry around. And, it's very sharp. It's brittle. So anyway, the Stone Age didn't end because of lack of stones. We just found better things. So, time and technology moved forward. Wheels, wagons, cars, trucks for moving things, as opposed to just hauling stuff on your back. Refrigeration for keeping food safe. Satellites with GPS transmitters. You can figure out how to get places and where your kids are right now. And so I think advertising and websites are going to change, and how we interact with websites is also going to change. And I think it's starting to happen with AI today. It's going to change even more. So I would look for a bifurcation. I think with every new trend, there's the counter trend. So when you saw crazy health crazes, you saw the rise of steakhouses. So I think with AI-powered systems on the rise, you're going to see that it's going to make it a lot easier for some people to automate some of these mundane tasks. Okay, find me this really random part and order it for me at the lowest possible price. Okay, great. So that's happening behind the scenes. But I think you're going to see a lot of people wanting to work with offline companies. People who are fed up with some of the automation and tech. People who want to drive that 63-year-old convertible Spitfire Triumph like mine that has no electronics. You have to shift the gears manually. People want to, in some demographics, they're going to want to call a company and talk to a real person. They're going to pay more for that, but that is the experience that you need to design. So I think that the trick as a marketer is to get inside the head of your end user. I started Customer Paradigm in 2002. We've done 30,000 plus projects since then in the web design and web marketing space. And the notion is, if you focus on the needs of that end customer first, everything else is going to follow. So figure out what makes them tick, what makes them happy, what's going to make their life better, faster, cheaper, easier, help them avoid pain and embarrassment. Figure out how your company can cater to them. And if you do that, you're going to be just fine.
Thank you so much for joining us on the DesignRush podcast. This was absolutely amazing. I wish you all the best with your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Curious about what top brands look for when choosing an agency? Tune into our latest episodes where we reveal the decision-making secrets of leading brands. Subscribe to the DesignRush podcast and stay ahead of the competition.